Hey everyone, welcome to the Mono Report. I'm your host Mono, back with a review for The Disaster Artist. The Disaster Artist comes to us from director and star James Franco, who is adapting the book The Disaster Artist, My Life Inside of the Room, from Greg Sestero. The Room, which I know a lot of fans will know, is widely regarded as the greatest, worst film of all time. And for good measure, it's probably one of the greatest cult films of all time. It's lasted 13, 14 years in cinemas during midnight screenings, where people just get together, have a great time, have a lot of fun, just throwing spoons, laughing at everything about the film and just having a really fun time. So the legacy of The Room has carried out through over a decade. The book, The Disaster Artist, came from Greg Sestero, who played Mark in The Room. And basically he broke down all the behind the scenes drama of the making of The Room and how he came into the life of the illustrious Tommy Wiseau, the mastermind behind The Room. And The Disaster Artist is essentially a retelling of that story, where we get to see Tommy, played by James Franco, and Greg, played by James Franco's brother Dave Franco, come together at the beginning of their filmmaking careers, both fairly lost and beaten by the industry, but finding a connection between each other which helps push them into continuing to pursue their dreams. The best thing about The Disaster Artist is that James Franco pays respect and homage to this entire tale. We really get a lot of time spent building up the relationship between Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero, how they got together, how they decided to move to Los Angeles together. There really is a lot of effort here given to trying to develop the relationship here, where you can honestly start to argue whether Tommy or Greg is supposed to be the main character of this film, as both of them get a hefty amount of screen time together. So really, depending on who you ask, someone's going to have a different opinion on who the actual protagonist of this film is. And the best thing about it is that the film pays a lot of love and respect to both people. In fact, the actual stuff about the making of The Room went by the quickest, where instead of just seeing how the film was made, we're seeing how the production of the film affected Tommy and Greg's personal lives and relationships, and what the film means for them and their journey. As I said earlier, The Room has become legendary in its cult status, where people just get together for midnight screenings and have a hell of a lot of fun, and that's just part of the pure joy and success really of what The Room has accomplished. And The Disaster Artist completely acknowledges this, as while it does call The Room out for what it is, The Disaster Artist presents it with the love and joy that millions of people around the world have for that film, which honestly just presents how beautifully bizarre Tommy Wiseau really is, and how his life has influenced and entertained fans all over the globe. There are a lot of surprises in The Disaster Artist that I will absolutely not spoil. It's just worth going in, especially if you have an interest in seeing movies about movies or how movies are made. I definitely say watch The Room first, just because there are a lot of Easter eggs and references that you probably won't understand unless you've seen The Room and you have that context in the back of your mind. It just makes the whole thing a hell of a lot more satisfying. All the performances are just wonderful. James Franco becomes Tommy, and in some of the side-by-side comparisons that were released online, you can see how much detail has been put into recreating a lot of scenes and moments of The Room for the fans, especially in James Franco's performance. I think James Franco is going to have some serious buzz come Oscar time. It's definitely up there. He definitely has a shot at getting some Academy Award nominations. Although the spotlight has really been on Tommy and James Franco, a lot of the film is on Dave Franco and his performance as Greg, which is phenomenal, where we get to see the progression of the young, starry-eyed Greg coming to LA for the first time, to the premiere of The Room, where he is wiser and more world-weary. Dave Franco is so wonderful in this film. I just think that he might get overshadowed by James Franco and his elaborate performance in this film, which is a bit disappointing, but honestly, you couldn't ask for anything better. They're both fantastic. And it's just wonderful that the two brothers decided to come together for this film. Unsurprisingly, with this being a James Franco film, a lot of his film buddies are in this movie, and the only one I'm going to mention is Seth Rogen, who for the first time in a while actually acts completely different to what you've expected of him from previous films. We actually get to see a lot of his acting chops and talent, which often gets overshadowed in a lot of the stoner comedies that he does, which, don't get me wrong, I am a fan of Seth Rogen, but it is great to see him get his meat on something and really shine and show us what he's actually capable of as an actor. Because honestly, I really do hope that James Franco gets to direct Seth Rogen more, because if he can bring performances like this out of Seth Rogen, then we're all in for a good time. It's awesome. Fans of The Room will have already seen this, but I highly suggest seeing The Room first and then getting into The Disaster Artist for the complete satisfying experience. that I know you guys are going to enjoy, especially if you're doing it as a double feature. It's going to be fantastic double feature material. It's going to be a really strange and bizarre ride, but I can guarantee you're going to find a lot of satisfaction in it. Guys, The Disaster Artist gets a 9 out of 10 from me. I hope you liked this review. If you did like this review, do remember to hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment down below in the comments section, and if you would like to subscribe to the channel, do hit the subscribe button with the little bell next to it, which will remind you when the Mono Report uploads new content. And don't forget, you can follow the Mono Report on Facebook and Twitter at the Mono Report. Thank you so much, guys. I'm in a different location at the moment. I'm actually on holiday back home in Australia at the moment, in Perth. So things are going to be a little bit different for a few weeks as I'm back home getting used to things. And I do apologize if I was off the grid for a little while. I was just getting back into life back here. But don't fret, there will be more videos to come, especially in these coming weeks where we've got some really fun big releases on the way. So thank you so much, guys, and don't forget to stay right here for your Mono Fix. Bye, guys.